Salve, salve, galera. Eu sou Marcos. Salve, salve, galera. Eu sou Marcos Bocaiuva, chegando para mais um Boca Podcast, o meu podcast oficial, onde eu promovo encontros com grandes resenhas de surf, de skate, falando também de wellness, de empreendedorismo, de contracultura, e eu espero que aqui nesse canal você possa encontrar grandes resenhas, grandes personagens, grandes debates, mas também sair daqui com alguma coisa que você possa utilizar na tua vida pessoal, seja você surfista ou não, seja você surfista, artista, empreendedor. E hoje, com muito orgulho, eu vou bater um papo com o maior testador de pranchas do planeta surf, que é Mr. Noel Salas. Noel é um ex-competidor do circuito Qualifying Series, americano, californiano, hoje radicado no Texas, e tem um YouTube channel chamado Surfing Show, onde ele realiza board reviews. Ele analisa pranchas das melhores fabricantes, dos melhores designers do planeta e faz a gente surfar melhor, porque ele promove não só tutoriais de como você pode surfar melhor e ajustar seu surf, e também testa as pranchas de grande design, com muito orgulho hoje que eu sou também um designer de pranchas, ter o Noel para debater comigo. So once again, thank you a lot for your time, first and foremost, with me in the podcast Boca, Mr. Noel Salas, the best board review from the planet of surfing and from the planet Earth. Welcome, Noel.
Thank you, bro. It's so good to be here. Excited to jump on the podcast with you guys.
Amazing, man. And first and foremost, I want you to contextualize where you're at right now. How is your life? And if you can do like a brief introduction from yourself, because some of Brazilian guys know you, some don't. So can you introduce your past, your present?
Yeah, I think you kind of were talking about me in Portuguese, that I surfed the QS qualifying series back in the 90s. Been surfing since I was 10 years old. And I took maybe a 10-year break from surfing, and then came back on the scene, and the volume and the board designs were a little bit different when I came back. The dimensions will never change, right? But rocker changed. They were making boards more user-friendly, but then they added this liters of volume for like how the board's going to float. And it was a little hard for me, when I first came back from not surfing for a while. I went and bought a 6.0 off the rack, and it was like, board, I needed a mask and snorkel to paddle it because it just didn't float the same, So things changed a lot. Then fins changed a lot with the FCS2 fin boxes, future boxes, and all the different fin constructions, all the different board constructions. And it was really hard to get my surfing and my equipment dialed. And I saw a unique moment in time where we could take my struggles and put it on YouTube and help others get their stuff dialed, because surfboards are so expensive. You can't return them. It's like buying a car. Just because you signed the document and you didn't even drive it yet, you just lost a bunch of value. And I feel like that's how surfboards are. You put a traction pad, you wax it, don't even go surfing, and you pretty much lost $300 to $400. So, we found a niche, and I wanted to take, what I've learned over the years and really just give it to the surf community, help people make better choices and help them surf better and have more fun. That's what our show's about.
That's how our sport is about. And can you just have a brief description and about your gear when you were like chasing the dream of CT inside of the QS?
Sure. And I'll blame Kelly Slater for all of this.
We all gonna blame him.
I've never seen anybody with so much influence in my entire life. I was riding like standard dimensions for me were like 6.0, 18.5, maybe 2.25. And pretty rockered out boards, like a little bananas, And the rails were real tapered or refined and pinched. And the equipment felt sharp. I mean, because that's what it feels like. For you to get a board like that back in the 90s going, you had to put it on rail and keep it on rail and keep it on rail for it to work.
Yeah.
It didn't have that like sense of glide to it, And the length of the board, with me being only 5'9",
it's a step up for you nowadays, almost.
Step up for me now, unless I'm in Hawaii. But like for the most part, it's like I don't even own a 6.0 board. I haven't owned a 6.0 board since I came back to the show.
I'm 6'1", and I almost don't have like boards like this size anymore.
And, that's how much influence Kelly had. What's funny is Xanadu, when I left Channel Islands, I went to Xanadu, and Xanadu showed me some of the best boards I've ever ridden, bar none back in the day. And he made me like a kind of like a small wave groveler type board, and I think it was like 5'10". Little wider nose, little wider tail, kind of like what we ride right now as a step down.
Okay.
And I made quarterfinals in Chiba, Japan.
Wow.
And then I made semifinals at the Caton at Huntington and lost to like was surfing against Richie Collins, Sonny Garcia, and Banning Caps.
Big dogs.
I never put two and two together that it was the board length and the width and design, because it had less rocker, a wider nose, wider tail, but it still looked aesthetically pleasing to the judges.
Okay.
And I'm like, why didn't I stick with that? And I remember Neko writing something like that in where were we? We were in
Argentina. Open.
Oh,
in Argentina also, in Mar del Plata.
Argentina, very much like the U.S. Open waves, kind of mushy, kind of crumbly, oceanside-like or Huntington Beach-like, and he won it.
Yeah, and he was surfing for Rusty now at that time, and he was using, like, by the side, he was using Claudio Hennick, a Brazilian guy from my town, Rio de Janeiro, amazing surfer and an amazing designer, by the side, because he was putting stickers of Rusty inside, on the top of, Hennick boards.
Right. And you know what? Like, if I had just paused and said, how did I get those two results? It's got to be about not just about the board width, but it has to be about the board length.
Okay.
Because with me being 5'9", it would have been ideal if I was riding 5'9" boards.
Okay.
At a minimum. Like, that would have been the max length. That would have looked different. It would have been a tighter arcing turn in the pocket, not so drawn out.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot quicker from rail to rail. And especially in the smaller waves, when you don't need that much rail line and you want to have quickness in transition, sometimes shorter can work better depending on the wave, how the wave is cupping and that kind of stuff. So I wish I knew what I knew now back then. And I feel like, man, if I could help people grab hold of that now at a younger age, they'll have way more fun.
That is a song. I wish I knew all I know now when I was younger.
Yeah.
Amazing. And after that, how was the offspring of that, or the aftermath of that 5'10" and those amazing results? You change your perspective, or you still like stuck in the middle?
I think the saddest part were those two results were at the end of my career, when I was writing for Rip Curl at the time, and they were just giving me free product. And when I traveled, I took their stickers off my board because they weren't helping me get from contest to contest. They weren't paying my entry fees.
Okay.
And the stickers that stayed on the board were companies that were contributing to the fund to get me from here to there.
Yeah.
I didn't put any money in a savings account, So I just felt like it wasn't really fair for them to get worldwide recognition of me competing, and they're not doing anything for me financially. Right?
Totally agree.
So when I was in Japan, I didn't want Rip Curl stickers on my boards because, in Japan, it's a big deal. They really pay attention to sponsorships.
Oh, yeah.
And so I took those off. And then when I came back and I got a quarterfinals, actually got the semifinal first.
Okay.
And then the very next event, I went to Chiba and I got quarters. And then the sponsor political game has always been, well, if you're not getting tons of photos in Surfing Magazine, then you got to be getting competition results.
Okay.
Because you've got to perform somewhere.
Yeah.
And I get it. I think that's fair.
Okay.
Right. And I hadn't really had any major results, and I wasn't getting the cover of any magazines. I did get a little bit here and there, editorial stuff. But as soon as I got the results, my contract with Rip Curl was up. So we were going to be renegotiating. And I finally had two results to say, hey, I could be onto something right now. I'm kind of
now it's about time for breaking through.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? And they're like, oh, you're not the next. You're not that young. I was like 23.
Whoa.
Maybe 24.
Okay.
They said, you're not the next Kelly Slater. So we're gonna pass. Like, you can stay on the team and we'll give you the free gear and the free suits. But I'm like, man, that just broke my heart.
Wow.
I was like, ugh. So at that point, I kind of just lost my edge to just play the political game, you know? It was hard. Now I have to start all over again with another company. And it was rough, man. When I see guys on tour that have no sponsors, man, my heart goes out to them.
Mine too, man. And
It's
amazing
really hard to
surfers nowadays. Amazing team of white,
Yeah.
top of the boards.
Right. And, you see guys that have some sponsors. Like, I don't know Michael Rodriguez's deal. I don't know Ian.
He closed a deal with Noronha. It's a brand from Brazil, from the island of Fernando de Noronha. I know the owner. He's a
That took a
charger
while.
over there. Amazing photographer also.
Yeah. That guy.
And Matt Viola's back up a lot for M-Rod career.
Yeah, Emrod rips, bro. I mean, that
Amazing.
guy's doing.
He got
doing
it all, man.
everything everybody's doing.
He's
He's got the full.
CT level.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No
Yeah.
brainer.
And then Ian Gentile, I don't know what his deal is, but like, it's nice to see Julian Wilson get behind some of these guys with his clothing brand. you know?
Mateus Herdy just closed a good deal with Julian. Amazing. Kudos, Julian.
I'm super excited for Julian. I played golf with Julian one time, and he seems like a super nice guy.
He's a
And for
gentleman.
him to get behind some of the athletes, that's really cool, man.
Amazing. Actually, I love those DIY movements like John did, like Kelly did, and I think Julian's building more a community. But I think it's a kind of a mid-size type of company. It's not a huge like Florence or like
Right.
selling products
Well,
all
even-
over the
or
globe.
even Dane Reynolds with Former, like my heart goes out to him, just grinding in the garage and working hard. Dane's probably one of my all-time favorite surfers.
I love that guy, man.
He's exciting frontside and backside. You never know what he's going to do. And man, I just miss watching him surf.
Craig Anderson in the team right now, and he built a team. He built a brand with Austin Gillett, amazing skater also. So that thing touched my heart because in my brand there is a meaning behind my brand. No, that I think I never told you, because the best thing is brutal art, surf, skate. All my passion inside one thing.
I love it. I love it. Good for you for doing your own fin template. That's amazing.
Amazing. I gotta shout out my friend Felipe. It's the owner of that brand over here. It's called On Wave, and I doing the collabs. I do my board by myself, but the fin thing is a collab, and it's amazing. And connecting one subject to the other, you do your own things already, and it is a thing that you pushing through from a couple of times. How is right now you're doing for yourself? There is a company, it's a white label system, is a collab. How you work with that?
You want to hear a funny story?
Yeah, of course. I'm a sci-fi fan.
Okay, so I was doing a lot of fin testing in boards when I was doing the board reviews, more SoCal. I was doing a lot of work with futures and FCS. When I say work, it's like I'd go there, talk with Vince, and I would talk to the guys in SoCal, like at Todd Prestige was doing the FCS, and we would talk fins, and I was always learning from everybody, just soaking it up like a sponge. And I remember just being at 165 pounds, 170 pounds, I always rode large fins in Southern California because I always wanted maximum drive and speed pushing off the large base.
Makes sense.
And so remember talking to Mike Parsons, telling him, why do I like the large fin so much? And we talk, concept theory, talking it with Vince, talking it with, the guys at FCS. And then I had this idea to hybridize a large fin and a medium fin, but go large fin base, because that's what I like. I like to push off the base.
Okay.
But I only want the fin to go medium fin deep in the water.
Okay.
Because I wanted less drag, because the longer the fin is,
more drag.
the more drag it has. Okay.
Okay.
And it seems to tighten up the board a bit too when the fin goes deeper.
Oh yeah.
And I think one of the most important things for me and surfers in general, if you're not a pro and you're not doing full blow tails and you're getting half the board or all of the board out of the water, you really have to focus on weight transfer to get the slide. And the deeper the fin, the more you have to transfer your weight. So I sat down with the guys at Futures and I had an idea and concept. I told them, this is my theory. and it was Vince and like two other big, like heavy guys and we were talking about what fins they were working on. And I said, hey, can I ask you guys about like a project that I want to do that maybe if I told you the project, you guys would make a fin for me? And it was kind of like, almost like they looked at me like, who does this guy think he is?
Yeah. He's
That's kind of how I
California?
felt. That's kind of how I felt, you know?
Okay.
Like, bro, you're a YouTube surfboard reviewer. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I have an idea. That's how I felt when I was sitting in their midst, you know? And they were gracious enough to listen to me.
Okay.
And I said, hey, have you guys ever done a hybridized spin where you have a large base with medium fin depth? And there was this hush over the room, like you could hear like a pin drop.
Okay.
And Vince looks over at his friend and the other guys, and he goes, we've never done anything like that before. He goes, what makes you think of that? And I told him, I want a large base with medium fin depth, less drag, and I want more freedom to get the tail free. And he goes, we've never done anything like that. FCS has never done anything like that. The closest thing I've ever heard to something like that, maybe Tom Carroll did a fin back in the day. He goes, but I never heard anything like that. I'm like, do you guys think you could make a fin for me? And he goes, no, we're too busy doing our thing. We don't want to do your fin.
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
Nice to know.
So then I went to Naked Viking, and Naked Viking says, we'll make your fins for you. And so we made some prototypes, and bro, I freaked in how good they went. They are so tailor-made to what I'm looking for. And they'll hold the guys, since they're G10 fiberglass, they'll hold up to 225 pounds.
Okay.
And they go for maybe 150 pounds. Anything that's lighter than that, I feel like, unless it's a pivot template, it's probably too much fin to move around for somebody that's lighter than 150 pounds.
Okay.
Unless you push.
You're going to surf super stiffy.
Oh, yeah. Well, like Caroline Marks, Lakey Peterson, they're riding large fins.
Yeah.
These girls push hard.
A lot. Both.
And they're like 130 pounds. So it's not that somebody light can't ride a large fin or ride my fins. It's, are you pushing hard enough to extract maximum drive through turns?
It's a technique issue, a surf technique issue. Yeah.
Absolutely. So fast forward now, how are my fins going? Well, for me, it's amazing because I'm writing my design and they're perfect for me. Like if there's guys out there in between a medium and large and you don't know which way to go,
okay,
you go for a fin like mine. It's hybridized. It's like it's designed to give you the best of both worlds.
Yeah. I was talking about this board that's in my bag. It's the best of both worlds because it's almost like a performance fish, and it's almost like you made a perfect son or daughter for a couple made of a kill fish and an MR template.
Yep. So that's how it's going. I feel like people around the world, because we ship them worldwide except for European countries.
Okay.
They buy them. They love them.
Whoa.
They absolutely love them. We've never had a return. Let's
make some connections for Brazilian market, maybe.
Yeah, we'd love to. Absolutely.
Yeah. I got the right guys for that.
And then we started making our fins, like my Pivot Twin plus trailer and my HP twins. We now make them in pre-preg carbon. Okay. And pre-preg carbon in fins is pretty much unheard of in the surfing world. Because you need a proprietary core that can handle the heat to get that impregnated epoxy resin that the carbon comes wet.
Whoa, in the mold?
No, it comes in a roll wet.
Wow. Okay.
And you have to keep it cold, like refrigerator.
Wow.
So, or else it'll cure, like it'll dry out.
Okay.
So my fins are handmade, one strip at a time, and they cure it under like a hot plates inside the mold, so it's not resin injected.
Okay.
Because the resin's in the carbon already. There's no vacuum bagging.
Man, it's a groundbreaking thing.
Oh yeah, bro. This amazing.
Wow.
Pre-preg carbon, it's the future, without a doubt.
Wow.
And so, we started doing pre-preg carbon, and I'm going, why doesn't anybody do pre-preg carbon? And everybody's saying that, like, you can't do a pre-preg carbon surfboard because the foam can't handle the heat of curing the carbon.
You're gonna melt.
That's why they do vacuum bagging.
Okay.
To suck the resin out as tight as they can so you get maximum performance out of the carbon. But pre-preg is the best because they don't add any more carbon, like epoxy resin, to that fiberglass.
He must feel super light.
Oh, it's like
wow,
a third of the weight of my G10 fiberglass fins.
Featherweight.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So for guys that do like a lot of airs and rotations, that's what you want.
It's a must go, man.
What the board's doing, yeah.
Have you ever offered Felipe Toledo down trestles? One of the
I haven't talked to him because he kind of has his own model.
I know.
FCS.
But he would love to experiment with yours.
I did recently give a pair to Josh Kerr.
Ooh.
And he was riding a twin fin at Waco. I'm like, check these fins out. And he grabbed it in his hand. He goes, oh my gosh, these are so light. What a beautiful fin. Who makes these? I'm like, that's my fin. And so he's like, where do I get a pair? And I'm like, here you go, bro. You can have them. And he's just a nice guy. I just said,
amazing.
Hey, if you love him, ride him. If you don't, it's okay.
Have you been watching Caio Belli using in Brazil his draft surfboard from Josh Kerr?
No.
Oh, he's ripping, man. I think Caio is kind of feeding from Vitor Bernardo, from the things that Vitor accomplished with Matt Parker. And now he's seeing some new horizon for Caio with the, more hybrid templates and different boards.
Yeah, both those guys are such good surfers, bro.
Amazing. I think you can attach the lines that, Josh Kerr used to draw and still draw. He's still drawing those lines, and with Caio Belli a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Victor Bernardo has been such an underrated surfer for so long. I mean, I've surfed with him so many times at Trussell. He's a really nice fella, surfs fast, super powerful and explosive. It's good to see him kind of drawing some different lines on some of the Matt Parker shapes for sure.
Amazing. I should shout out to Matt, what he did for Vitor. Vitor was like doing like some gigs in catering, trying to pay the bills to still like surfing and have a, follow the dream. And nowadays he's rising as one of the best free surfers in the planet right now, with such a unique type of, and influencing almost like the whole, album brand also, with the name of the boards and the Bom Dia, putting some Brazilian mojo inside of the game also.
Yeah, I think Matt Parker and the album surfboards that he does, they're beautiful. Like he does beautiful surfboards.
For sure. He's amazing in design. He bring his knowledge from design, for his aesthetic knowledge for the board game. And
Absolutely.
Like follow that steps, not talking just about fins right now. And how much your view of surfing changed from the Go Fish era, because it's a breakthrough video for yourself. Going to HHS, buying a board from the rack, and trying to put your effort to do a proper surfing game inside of that board, and like on top of that board, and like kind of finding your way to surf with the twin fin. Can you bring back those memories?
What's funny is I reached out to the guys at Firewire to see if I could get a Go Fish to do the review, but I didn't have any twin fin experience. I sent out a message. I got crickets, man. Nobody responded back. And in the surfboard review world or space, or anybody that does reviews, whoever does it first gets the most views.
Yeah.
So you got to be on it, right? And so I was always trying to get the most information from our community as fast as I could, so that way they can make a solid decision. Board size, these are the fins, this is what you want. And so they could go out and make a solid purchase. And I thought, well, if we wait, they might never send me a Go Fish.
Yeah.
So I spent $800 maybe. And I had fins, think from Futures, they'd given me a bunch of twin fins, which I knew nothing about. I didn't know where to start. And so I got that Go Fish and went out surfing. And, when you paddle out at your local break and everybody sees you and they know how you surf and your potential of how to surf, they've seen you surf on good boards, they see me struggle on boards. I'll go from a 5'9" to like a 5'3", and there's no grace from my friends or the crowd.
Oh, never.
Never.
A lot of bullying coming from those guys.
Yeah, I hear them walk by and ask Aaron, my brother that's shooting the video on, And he's videoing the wave. They're like, what the hell is Noel riding? That thing looks like crap.
Your brother have a twin brother that I didn't know he was living in like in the marsh.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, I just got on a 5.3 coming off a 5.9. There's just no mercy here. You know, I think it's like a small little taste of what Kelly Slater goes through. Whenever he writes something and I read all the comments, people just bash everything. And I look at Kelly and I'm like, good for you. You look like you're having fun at least, you know?
And he go to the chat and collide with people. Hey, I got my point, so I'm using this because of that. And he liked to confrontation.
Yeah. So I think the thing with the Go Fish was I felt like I was learning how to surf all over again, to be honest with you. It was hard. It was humbling. I came in from perfect little waves and just felt absolutely challenged and destroyed.
With the laughs on the back of your mind, like, you cannot surf anymore. You're going to be a golf player.
Yeah, when I come in, my brother's like, are you all right, bro? That was awful. I'm like, thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's awesome, you know.
Did you took a decaf cappuccino by the morning?
Yeah, so when we were driving home, I just was quiet. I felt like I lost like a heat, you know. And we're driving home, and I'm like, man, give me a board that I can surf. Jeez, I have to like get some self-redemption here. And I stayed on it. I stayed on that board till we were done with the review, and little by little, we get better and better and better. But I really didn't have the right fins for that board to go good.
Okay.
And, you know, that's the shame. That's the shame about, you know, when you buy a surfboard and it doesn't work good because you think the same set of fins is supposed to work good in every board.
Oh, yeah.
And so us surfers just say this board sucks, and we discredit the creation and the shaper on that particular model instead of trying to find the right fins to make that board gel, you know? And I think if I rode the Go Fish again with some of the fins that I've designed or even some of the newer fins that have come out,
you're going to be
I'd have a great experience.
For sure.
Yeah. It's just, you know, like I think even twin fin templates have progressively gotten more stable, more, I would say, more controllable. I feel like we're even the shapers are even starting to move the fin boxes back a little bit further to give us more stability,
more grip.
So I feel like, we need traction, we need hold, because us thruster guys rely on our 3 fins.
For sure.
Right. So I feel like there's been a lot of progression in twin fin board making to help us thruster guys that didn't grow up surfing twin fins like MR learn how to surf these boards.
Because you start right out the gates with thrusters. I'm older. I start with a single fin, and then my second board, I made I used the same, you know, blank, and I made my first 3 fins with white label with the shaper in my town. But I'm older, so I start with a single fin. You jump out of the gates with thrusters, so you didn't know how to handle without the mid fin, like the trailer one.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the thruster surf's completely different than a single fin, and everything takes a little bit of time to adapt, you know? And, you know, when I made this recent episode of the one surfboard that changed my surfing life was the Go Fish, I would have never wanted to make that episode back when I was surfing the twin fin because I hadn't figured it out yet, number one, how to ride one.
Okay.
And it didn't change my surfing life. It just humbled my surfing life.
Yeah.
Right? But I would never want to hurt Rob Machado's business. Rob rips on those things. You know, certain guys just shred on twin fins. And it's like for us to just poo-poo on his board design without like putting any time or effort into learning how to ride one.
But there is a point over there because your honesty, is something that people cannot accept and understand that everything that comes from your mouth, everything that you test, you're going to be honest in your review. That's why you receive models from everywhere.
Right. Yeah. And I try to have the integrity to always find the right board, the right fin combination. I do the work. I put in the time. If it doesn't feel good with my such and such fins, I go get another set of fins that's a little bit different. And I just keep tweaking and tweaking. I'm like, okay, guys, this is the setup. This board with this fin, you're going to feel these things. And people are like, man, I never thought, they always tell me, I didn't think I was good enough to feel the fins, but I understand what you're saying. I could feel it. Right. And I think that's what makes the reviews priceless.
You
right?
still remember which fin you're using with the goldfish thing board?
You know what?
More a pivot or more kill?
I settled on the futures. I tried a keel.
Okay.
And they were really fast, straight. And when I wanted to do a turn, we argued.
Yeah, stiffy.
Real stiff, kind of tracky. They didn't want to jump off the track.
Yeah.
You know? But then I got the T1s and honeycomb that I was putting twin plus trailer because they're a smaller fin.
Okay.
And I started to like learn how to use my rails.
Oh, you got a third box in that goldfish.
No. But the T1s come as a twin plus trailer.
Oh, okay. But use the side fins.
I had no place to put the stabilizer.
Okay.
So I ran the T1s and I started to learn how to use my rail a little bit because you have to when you go into the turn, you have to set the rail first and then engage the fin and push hard. With a thruster or even twin plus trailer, you have that third fin that gives you a little bit of pivot, bite, and traction.
Yeah.
I feel like I can still surf the board off the tail and do all the turns I want to do unless the waves are bigger, of course, because you're going so fast.
Yeah.
I learned how to do that front side with the T1 side fins. Never figured it out backside. Could never stop it from sliding.
Okay.
On the go fish. So that's what I'm saying. I never really figured out the proper fins to put in that board. And there really wasn't fins at my disposal that would change what I had already tested.
There's a cliche on the game. There's, fishers or twin fins are not good in backhand because you need more drag, more stability. And things change with a technology, with better templates of fins, even, smaller rails. Don't you agree? Have you ever felt that way back in the day with the backside gaming with twin?
And I think there's certain things to be talked about when you talk about board attributes. Where the fin boxes are placed. If it's up further, like 9.5, 10, it's going to be real slippery, both front side and backside. But if we can move it back to like 8.25, 8.5 from the tail, I think we're going to get more drive, more hold, more stability. V-bottom twin fins, you can use a lot less fin because the board settles down at high speeds and starts to turn like a boat. When you floor a boat, it goes and it's turning like this, so you can use a lot less fin with a V-bottom twin fin.
Okay, makes
sense. As
sense.
Opposed to a twin fin board that has a concave, where the board's like skipping. Right?
So almost jumping sections.
It's jumping. Yeah, it's so fast. So now it's like, well, shoot, I need more fin, or I got to move that fin box back just to have some control of the speed because the twin fins are so fast. So yeah, board attributes, fin placement, location, the boxes, where they locate those boxes, it changes everything. It just does.
How, changing subjects, how you find the balance in the things that you record for your amazing community between like board reviews and surf better tutorials? Because the other thing that you do in an amazing fashion way is the better surfing tutorials, like how to place your feet on the board, how to use arrays. Because in Brazil, even in Brazilian language, in Portuguese, we don't use, toe size and heel size. And there is a advantage for the English speaking people and surfers. Right. The mindset that came, I think, from snowboarding, maybe the toe and heels and toes.
Yeah.
And how you balance those things.
I feel like if I get into doing the board reviews, I feel like I'm trying to keep up with the community, the new boards that are coming out. And then the flip side, like surf better tutorials, I feel like I've covered enough of the basic fundamentals in the library to help people progress in like solid fundamentals that as you break into and go deeper in each topic, it gets more advanced. Then you get layback snaps, front side tail sides, back side tail sides. So I haven't done 360s yet. I want to do 360s,
Cool.
but I don't know how many people in our community are really going to benefit because it's such an advanced maneuver with weight transfer.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was I started surfing when I was 10, probably when I was about 16, 15, about 15, 16 years old, I did my first 360, open face 360. So really working on weight transfer. And that one maneuver grew my surfing leaps and bounds.
Wow.
Because I learned how to transfer my weight. And once I learned how to do that, it opened up and unlocked the door to learning how to drive through
Mind
turns.
blowing. Poof.
Yeah, it blew my mind. You know, the best way to describe it, I think most surfers, if you're an intermediate level, if you see a wave and it's going to tube and you need to slow down, you kind of step on the tail a little bit and you're like trying to stall, wait. And then you're in it. You're like, oh my God, I got to get out. Because it's your first time ever being in one. And you don't know how to get out of it until you start to figure out if you push a little weight on the front foot, the board just takes off like a bullet.
Yeah.
Right? Well, if you can incorporate that into your bottom turn, as you set the bottom turn with the back foot, it kind of stalls the board for just a second so you can plant the rail. And then you begin to transfer your weight forward. The board starts to squirt with speed and you start to go up the wave face, gaining speed. That's drive. So weight transfer for me with the 360 just opened my mind up to like, whoa, like that's amazing. I didn't understand at the time. And that's probably one maneuver that helped me go from intermediate to upper level intermediate, like that.
You became a black belt right out the gate, like that day.
More like a yellow belt from a white belt.
A blue belt. It's a yellow belt is for kids.
Yeah. But I felt like that was the maneuver that kind of just clicked something inside of me, you know?
Amazing, man. And thinking about those issues and the community itself, it's kind of hard sometimes to manage what you put in the Patreon, what you put free for people to check it out. And you have Aaron, sometimes you got to engage some conversation with Aaron to decide, or you got to do it for your own?
You know, the surf better tutorials was kind of a strange thing for me. We were in lockdown from COVID, if you remember that. That's when it started. And nobody was surfing around the world.
Man, I was in Portugal, lockdown. Actually, it was a privilege because it was the first country to open after the lockdown. Oh, nice. So I started doing some broadcasting right out the gates, like after the beginning of the ending of the thing.
Right. So, you know, I was riding my skateboard every day, my Carver. And I actually approached Carver and told him about my idea to do a practical land application with water time and breaking down a couple waves. They had no vision for it.
Crickets again.
They couldn't grasp what it was that I was trying to like explain to them because I was trying to get a contract. I'm like, I don't want to talk about your great product without getting paid.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you pay me to write this product, I'm not going to sell your product. I'm just going to tell people what I'm writing and why. And if it sells product for you, good for you. Because I'm not here to sell product.
Yeah.
I'm here to help our surfers get better.
To build a community.
Yeah.
To build trust.
Yeah. And so as soon as the lockdown happened on COVID, I started riding every day. And I was telling my brother, Aaron, I'm like, I have no model to copy here. Like the first episode has to be really, really good or else we're screwed. Because everybody's going to do it better and copy me. And so I did the first episode. And when I was doing the first episode, I thought, I'm not going to put it out on YouTube for free and give away my intellectual property of being an athlete and helping people go to the highest level, you know, that I can on the wave face for nothing.
Yeah.
I'd rather just not do it. I don't need to give away something for free. I'm already doing enough.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I feel.
Pretty enough.
It's just, that's how much time do we put into this stuff? Because it's a passion of ours. We want to help people, you know? And so I told I told Aaron, I don't want to do it for free. He's like, what are you thinking? I'm like, well, there's this thing called Patreon, which it's like you get patrons to pledge monthly dollar amount and then they pay for your content and you keep uploading content that nobody else can see but them. He goes, you know how to do that? I said, no, but I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I figured out the first episode, put it out on YouTube, and then episode 2 had to be done too. So that way people would want to go watch episode 2 right away. And man, the subscribers started just flooding in. It was awesome. It was so awesome. And then I sent the first episode over to Carver, and they're like, we want to sign a contract with you right now.
Oh, things change.
Yeah, things changed. But they're like, but we want to make sure every episode's free for every surfer. I'm like, no.
Of course not.
You guys should have did that in the beginning. And that's how our Patreon surf better tutorials got started.
Amazing.
And then we just started taking our time going through all the basic fundamental maneuvers that we felt like, were what our community, like who is our community? We're the lower level intermediate, getting to maybe, some advanced surfers. I feel like there are some upper end expert level surfers that watch our stuff if they just want to know board knowledge.
I know a lot of guys, that compete and watch here in Brazil, your channel.
Really? That's flattering.
Yeah.
I'm flattered.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for telling me that. But I feel like for the bulk of our community, people want to know why I don't do high performance shortboards. Like, why aren't you doing Jack Robinson's new board? I'm like, bro, because I don't surf better than him. And if you want to know how that board works, just watch him surf.
Yeah. You have a tutorial in WSL. Just tune in.
High performance shortboards, bro. If you want to ride a high performance shortboards that the pros are riding,
watch them ride.
Yeah, watch the tour. It's like, I don't feel like I don't feel like that benefits our community as a whole.
I agree. Totally.
Yeah. I mean, I could ride them and have fun, the boards, because they're beautiful and they're great. And I like to use my rails and I think they'll go good for me. But this isn't about me.
Yeah.
This is about us.
It's for sharing.
Yeah. Now, if I lived in Hawaii and I was surfing waves that were of consequence, that were super round, I'm going to have to get on some of those boards for sure.
Oh, yeah. Bring it on, Paisel.
Yeah. But, I don't surf there. So in SoCal's nowhere like Ocean Beach. It's not like Fiji. It's not like Indo. It's not like Bali. It's not like Hawaii.
We can attach the same, perspective with Brazilian surfers because we don't have the better waves here. And that's why we surf. It's way easier to surf good waves when you know how to surf, manage yourself in the worst conditions that shift the opposite, like Indonesian or Hawaiian surfers to adapt to the QS like Virginia Beach surfing.
Right. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Yeah, I've surfed Brazil a bunch. Florianopolis. I surfed the QSs over there, and they're very much like Southern California waves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With I think worse sandbars.
Yeah.
Here, I mean, being humble.
Yeah, but very similar waves, and it's a grind.
Yeah,
you've got to have the right equipment to surf those types of waves. It's not like paddling out at Rocky Point.
The right word is grinding. We grind over here every day in Rio, in Florianopolis, in São Paulo. That's why I think we build such a heavy like monopoly of surfing nowadays. And the other thing that we think about a lot about Brazilian surfers is because we have the stable game in Brazil, stable sport in Brazil is with the feet. It's soccer. NBA, NFL is everything with the hands.
Sure.
No, I think one thing that I have here with this new channel is the dream about having amazing conversations. We are already having that, but I think I want to push harder that envelope with bringing something that people can attach and using their lives. So touching that subject, what do you think in a few brief moments and minutes over here, you can bring to my audience to make people surf better? Is foot placement, is the right, choosing the right gear, and is the mix, because we don't have time to dissecate. And I want to encounter you every single year from now, because I think we can regroup and talk deeper to some subjects.
Right. I feel like, on foot placement, people think there's like pop to your feet and it's perfect every time. Professional surfers and expert level surfers, we move our feet around all the time. I get to my feet. If the wave's fast, I'm going to keep my back foot forward. If I want to do a turn and it's not a sharp turn, I'll take it halfway back and then all the way back on the roundhouse. If I want a real critical turn, it's got to be all the way back or the board's going to bog. It's really simple. But you do have to discipline yourself to move your feet. You have to be aware of where your foot is on the traction pad. Just because the traction foot pad's 12 inches long and you can feel the traction pad doesn't mean you're all the way back. I tell my students this all the time. Cut the pad in half, and when you touch that traction pad, you'll know that you're further back than you were if it's at the front. Your foot's on the front of the pad.
The bump in the traction is the right spot because
there's
going to be underneath that.
There's a kick. You should feel the kick on the side of your foot every time.
And then you can move forward and push hard your tail.
Move forward, back. I get questions too. It's like for quads. Where do I put my traction pad? Because the quads are up further and it doesn't have the center box. Should I just put my pad up further so I can have it right over the quad rears? And I said, no. You always want it all the way back. So you can always get the most sensitive, critical turn out of your board, and you can always move your foot forward. You can never move it past the kick. It just doesn't make sense to me, right? So always like the simple things of, I feel like people are looking for the easy answer. They're looking for the quick answer to the equation. Just tell me where to stand. It's not that way. If you want to be an expert pro level surfer and you want your surfing to progress, the key and the answer is move your feet around and discipline to move it all the way back to get a legitimate turn.
And board-wise, you got to be specific. Maybe it's just a simple way of saying.
Yeah, and I think board-wise, I think if you're not a good paddler and you don't surf all the time, get something with a hybrid shape. A wider outline up front. Make it easy on yourself.
My brand is full of glovlers. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I think that's good. Like you, if you're surfing every day and you want to catch a lot of waves, and those boards carry a lot of speed, and speed's the key to a lot of different maneuvers. And having more fun. It's always fun going fast.
And if you want to turn around properly in the pocket, do like, pocket tails, like narrow tails.
Yeah, you can pull the tail in. You can have a little bit wider nose. It doesn't have to be super wide, and then if it's wide and the waves are small, you can go shorter. Just make sure it has the volume that's appropriate for your skill level, But yeah, I think surfboards and equipment, fins, like the wider the board goes, you might need a more upright fin because you don't want to put a raked fin in a really wide board. Wide boards have a lot of surface area for a lot of planing speed, getting up on top of the water and going fast down the line, but then they're tight and hard to turn.
You can bog. If you don't choose the right size, you're going to bog.
Yeah, and they don't come with a lot of rocker. That defeats the purpose of the width and the flatter rocker to carry maximum speed in smaller waves. So how do we change that? We buy them a little bit shorter, keep the volume, and we mess with the fins because the fins will give you a tighter arcing turn as long as it doesn't have a lot of sweep or rake. So there are little nuances and formulas to get something to feel exactly the way we want.
Amazing, man. Good conversations like fly super fast. We're already, you're finishing here our conversation. I don't want to take more time from you, but because I want to feel the taste of getting to know you better in next conversations, because this thing that I'm bringing on the Boca Podcast is one thing that I want to grab myself, all my knowledge, all my peers, my compadres with the surf, with the skate, people, and bring it on the best conversations. And I really can't thank you enough, because it's the third time that we chat, and now it's an official podcast. I'm super honored to have you as my first international guest, my friend.
I'm honored that I got to be first.
Yeah. You told me you got to be first to be in the vanguard. And how people in Brazil can find you better. Can you show your handles and talk just to finish why the Brazilian audience can find you?
Yeah, so our YouTube channel is just Surf and Show. So it's surf, then the letter N, and then show. And then our website is surfandshow.com. And I feel like on the surfandshow.com, if you're looking at two different boards in the same category, we have a side-by-side comparison with star rating. So you can look at what board's faster, which one paddles better, which one's more user-friendly, which one surfs better in the pocket, which one likes to carve more. So there's always a couple boards on all of our surfers' minds, and we designed our website around helping you choose the right surfboard. That's always been our most important thing about Surf and Show.
Amazing. Can I ask you one more solid? Can you say your punchline? Because I love your punchline. Get your favorite drink, enjoy the show, and relax. Can you do it properly?
Sit back. Hey, this is gonna be fun. Sit back, get your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. And you know why I started saying that? I was always prepped for like a drink sponsor. I've always wanted a drink sponsor, right?
Let's find maybe a Brazilian company can find you.
Hey man, that would be huge. I'll rock that.
Actually,
for sure.
I'm myself. I'm building a tea company worldwide with the holding going to be in Portugal, and I think maybe further on we can sponsor you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I gotta like it though. I'm gonna like it, drink it, and I'm gonna sit back. But here's the deal: the reason we said get your favorite drink, sit back and enjoy the show, because they're always kind of lengthy. It's like, don't look at my channel to be here for 2 minutes.
Yeah,
like, get a drink, put your feet up, sit back, because I'm gonna give you some education that you might want to hang on to.
One last question: how much of conversation and communication is part of your game there? Because you're a communicator nowadays.
Yeah. I think communication is key in everything you do in life, to be honest with you. There's maximum growth in relationship through communication. If you don't know how to communicate with people so that they can treat you right or love you right or accept you right, it's just a lack of communication, right? And I feel like that's a gift that God gave me.
I think they give us both.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, my friend. I'm gonna see you later on. Maybe I'm gonna reach you. I'm gonna travel to the States. I want to surf Waco, and maybe I'm gonna manifest one thing here. You're gonna be easier to bring you to Surf Boa Vista Beyond Surf Club. You're gonna choose wave garden technology, perfect swell. You're gonna be happy there. We're gonna bring your boards, your fins, and I'm gonna bring you to Brazil again. Maybe I'm gonna manifest this right away, right now.
Let's do that. I got one thing for you. I want to do an episode podcast where I get to pick your brain on your show about the WSL.
Man, I'm down. Just call me.
I want to know where this sport's going, how we're going to make it better. How are these pro surfers how are we going to identify? Like, we've got to get into the nitty gritty and find out how to do better scoring and give these guys that are doing hopping at the bottom, as opposed to guys that are doing full blown bottom turns and not wasting any space or time on the wave face.
Just call me, tell me the hours and the place. I'll be there with my best wardrobe.
I love it. That would be a fun episode.
For sure. Count me in. Thank you, my man.
Sounds good.
Aloha from Brazil.
Okay, we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Talk soon. Bye-bye. Obrigado, Moisés. See you, my friend.
All right, bro. Talk soon.
Amazing. Não fizemos?